Hi everyone. We were working on the rounding roller coaster last week, and so this should be familiar with you. But I do want to explain again how to use this for those of you who still feel like you're not quite there yet. So what I did is I actually remade it so that I can manipulate the board and change the numbers as we go. Don't forget that you do have the template in the math classroom under classwork in materials to help you with math. All right, so this is our rounding roller coaster, and I'm going to start with the tens. So just rounding to the nearest tens. Let me write that down because it is always important to look at the directions. So round to the nearest tens place. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give you a number that we're going to round. So let's say that our number is 43. So when you look at the rounding roller coaster, the first thing you need to do is you need to underline that place you're rounding to, because that's going to tell you what starts over here and what ends over here. So this 4, as we said in class, isn't worth a 4. It's actually worth a 40. And that's always our starting point. Whatever your tens place is your starting point. So 40 is our starting point. That means that anything on this side of the rounding roller coaster is going to stay. And remember, I didn't like the words on the rounding roller coaster where it said round down. You are going down in your cart, but you're not going down in numbers. You're just staying at that 40. And then anything that goes 5 or above, so your cart is here, anything that's 5 or above, so 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and then this square would be 50. And so in this case, we look at the number that we're rounding to, our neighbor in particular, and that tells us where on the rounding roller coaster we're looking. Our 3 is right here. That's where 43 is. So that cart is going to roll down that roller coaster and it's going to land on 40. So 43 would round to 40. Okay? All right. Let's do another one. All right. So now this time, let's take another number and round, and we'll fill in our rounding roller coaster just so that I think it makes sense to you. Remember, I'm that why teacher. I need to know the why behind it. So my next number that I'm going to round is 67. It tells me to round to the nearest tens place, so I'm going to underline the tens place, and then I'm going to fill in these 2 squares with the numbers that I am rounding in between. Because that 6 is in the tens place, it is not a 6, it's a 60. So there's our starting point. That means that 60, 61, 62, 63, and 64 would cause that cart to come down and choose 60. But 65, 66, 67, 68, and 69 would cause that cart to roll down, and what comes after 69? Yes, I heard you. 70. Good job. So those are the 2 numbers that we want to know what to round to. Is 67 going to round to 60 or 70? Is it closer to 60 or is it closer to 70? Sometimes teachers will ask you that. Look at where 67 is on this number line. Yes, it's a roller coaster, but it's also a number line. Is that 67 closer to 60 or 70? Or will that cart roll backwards or forward? And you can see that it's going to roll forward to 70. So 67 would round to 70. Excellent. Let's try one more quick one. All right. All right. we're going to kick it up a notch. This time, we're going to round to the nearest hundreds place. So, let me give you an example number. And I'm giving you this number because it can be tricky. But we're going to walk through it and we're going to figure it out. So when we round to the nearest hundreds place, the same thing. Hundreds place is what we're going to underline because that's where we're going to start at 200. Now, when we number around our chart, what we're going to do is we're going to jump ahead and we're going to round by jumping ahead, counting by tens. So we have 200, 210, 220, 230, 240 on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side would be 250, 260, 270, 280, 290, and what would go in this box? Right, can you believe that I can hear you on this video? It's crazy. Must be my magical math powers. So now I need to know, where will 249 fall on this chart? And the reason that it's tricky is because look at, we have 240 here and 250 here. But remember, this cart doesn't start rolling down this track until it gets to 250. 249 would be behind 250, which means it's going to roll this way because look at that tens place. We have a 4. So 249 is actually going to round to 200.